damage, too much damage, had a tree down, but other than that, road-wise, we get quite a bit of rain, 2 to 3 inches depending on where you're at, so. 99's, well, stalled just for a little bit, of course, until it dries back out, but they are moving and getting closer on the south end of being done, then they gotta go to the north end. So I keep getting asked how soon, and
I keep getting asked how soon.
Yeah, this is, that's one of the problems with giving people answers to that question in construction, is because you're guaranteed to be wrong. But right now, I would say the absolute earliest would be the end of June. And if you look at
The end of June is
Yep.
gonna be the absolute earliest?
Yep. And if you start looking at the 10-day forecast, it starts making you think that you're probably being ambitious for that, because right now they've got rain in every day in the second half of the forecast. So it is what it is. You
Yeah,
drive
but
weather,
June
though.
still send our guidelines, those are what we expected to start with.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was saying the end of May, I clarified to everybody, that was an absolute best case scenario. And the worst case was out basically at the end of August, so we're still in a window. That's the challenge with giving people targets, is they don't typically hear the worst, they hear the best, which is fine, I understand. Everybody's sick of the road being closed. Seems like this week is really, or late last week into this week, has really brought a rise in that question. So anyway, just give you some insight. And Flint Bottom's moving along, same thing. They work whenever the rain lets them. So I don't think we'll see any more concrete out there for another week or two, but they're fortunate because they're working on a paved road that they're removing, so the rain doesn't have quite as big an impact. Otherwise, guys are up blading, and it sounds like our shop site contractor's gonna move in sometime this week or next. We've been told that now for the last month and a half too, so I'm not gonna hold my breath. So things are going on, a lot of stuff going on.
I've gotten a lot of thanks for all the gravel roads I just had re-gravelled, so.
Hey, good
Thanks,
work,
bud.
good work.
Yeah, I told him, I said it was all me, so.
Things are changing after you got elected.
Well, I told him, expect big things.
So, I mean, and that's a good point. We are doing our rocking program right now, and the roads we are rocking right now are our highest, are mostly our highest profile roads, because they're our chloride roads. So there are 30 miles of our busiest roads, so they are gonna catch attention that we're hauling, good and bad, to be honest with you. I'm glad you're getting the goods.
I'm getting all good so far.
So they should wrap that up on those roads here in the next week or two, and then they'll just be into our next, 4 to 5 months of general rocking throughout the county. So,
So I'm gonna turn my bad calls over to Shane. I'll
Perfect.
call Shane. I don't want anything to do with it.
That's what they say, they said, Jim told me to call you, I just hang up right away.
yeah. I've been passing them to him too, so that works out great. So,
Thanks.
otherwise, things are good. I think everybody's ready for 99 to get open, quit using golf course, and I'm ready for that too, but it's gonna be a little bit longer, so.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Rodney, maintenance.
Good morning. We just have a lot of stuff going on, so I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding that they're not quite getting quite the response time they normally probably would, so we appreciate everybody's patience. Treading water, so still kicking.
Rodney, from the past,
Made a report.
I hear them thanking you for everything you do, so I'm sure they've got patience waiting on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, other than that, nothing new to report. Thank you.
I saw you out working in front of the courthouse the other day, I don't know if it was yesterday or Friday, I've had a busy weekend. But you were working really hard, you were going so hard, I tried to thank you, I was honking my horn
Yeah.
and waving, and you just kept going right at it. Some guy just told me, hey.
Was he
you're
really
still
waving
waving.
or telling you number one? What was he really doing?
I'm not sure.
I think he told me I was number one. Yeah. Probably said.
Ken Hyman, mental health.
Good morning. Tomorrow's the region's monthly meeting, so we'll be going through some more contracts. I think we got 3 contracts that we'll review at the governing board tomorrow. And then we've got 3 more to do in June. So then we'll be done with contracts. Our last contract meeting is this afternoon, and then they go through the management team and then the governing board. So contracting's going well. Just a busy time of year too. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's the main thing that I've been working on, so.
Okay, well, thank you. I see Tom, he's on here. I see his face there, he's smiling, so. I think we have something he's gonna talk about here after a bit. Is that right, Mr. Broker?
That's right. Don't tell Mrs. Broker I haven't shaved. She's going to put out that I'm on this call without shaving.
I wondered what that was. How is the recorder's office doing, Natalie?
Good morning. We're doing good, just working on indexing some old records, a long time project. It'll take us quite some time to get those records in there, but otherwise just business as usual.
Oh, good. Thank you. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Let's see, we got all sorts of fun stuff going on. It's springtime, so the parks are busy. This weekend, we've got our big event. This would have been the Jamboree, but instead we're having the Big Hollow Open House event. Folks can come out and kind of explore the park on their own. We've got a digital scavenger hunt. We'll have canoes, a whole bunch of canoes that you can rent for free. That'll be down at the beach. This is all Saturday. We're gonna have some fishing poles to loan out. We'll have bait provided. The boat shop, what is that, the marine place up in Mediapolis has donated some bait for us. So basically just come on out, explore the park all day, and then we're having that flotilla event. So anybody that's got a canoe or kayak or wants to be in a canoe or kayak, and join us in a great big crowd of paddlers out on the lake right out from the beach. We're gonna take a drone shot at 1 o'clock. And this is to promote water quality efforts in the park. So we've got a long-running water quality planning process that we're kind of sort of nearing the end of. And so part of that is getting some public input. And I mean, we have a fairly decent sense of the number of people that come to that park, you know, just because we're there every day and we see it. But there's really no way to capture the opinion of park users and the extent to which people value that park in any real tangible form. And so that's really what this flotilla event is if we can put, you know, hundreds of folks in canoes, kayaks out on that lake and put them all in one group, take a picture of that, I think that's gonna be, you know, a visual representation of the value that people place in that park. You know, because even throughout the summer, it's not uncommon to have hundreds of kayaks out there. But how do you capture that? How do you make a statement with that without going through, you know, asking people to, hey, fill out this survey or whatever. And yes, of course, we will have some survey for folks to fill out for this watershed project. But so that's coming up this weekend. So anybody wants to come out, let's cross our fingers that the weather holds out for us, and come on out and enjoy Big Hollow this weekend. Other than that, we did put out 3 docks last week, and we got 3 inches of rain, so I guess I'm glad we didn't put out that 4th dock out on the river. So you're welcome, I guess, for that. Maybe we should only put 2. And so we've had to go back out and fetch those because the river took a big jump. But it looks like it's on its way back down now, so we will go ahead and leave those out. And cross our fingers we don't see any big rains and get into monsoon season when the river normally floods in the summertime. And so just trying to stay on top of those things and seeing more and more people out in the parks as the weather gets nicer.
Thanks, Chris. Jared Lassiter, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning.
Morning. We got a couple of minor subdivisions on the agenda today and another one out for review. Expect that one to come in next week. And apart from that, just been keeping busy. Nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you. Janelle, down in Longquest, County Treasurer.
Good morning. We're keeping busy. Last week, delinquent and tax sale notices were mailed out, so we've been busy with that and preparing for the tax sale. And it's spring, summer, so motor vehicle is hopping too, but we're keeping busy.
Sounds like car dealers are doing good then.
Seems so.
Yeah. Thank you. Krista Pulley-Miller.
Good morning.
Public Health.
Good morning. Yep, continuing to keep busy with COVID. Our numbers for the county has gone down. The 7-day rolling percentage is at 5%, but only 21 cases for the last 7 days, so we are trending downward. Total vaccines we've given for the county by county providers to date is 32,200, and completed by providers is 15,200. We are no longer, we're done with our big COVID vaccines down at the clinic for the time being. We are doing vaccinations at our office Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 3:30. People can sign up on the website, or it's also, walk-ins are also welcome. We are continuing to reach out to different industries and different locations, and we are going out and doing mobile vaccine clinics at this point, trying to really reach the community who may not be able to make it to our vaccine clinics. So we are planning on really gearing that up a little more in these coming weeks, so that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
How many people are involved with that mobile vaccine process?
So the mobile vaccine, so we, the sheriff's office was very kind and donated a McGruff-mobile to us. And so it is getting completed this week. And so the plan will be then 2 or 3 times a week, we will be going out and setting up that mobile vaccine clinic. What we're currently doing is we have a clinic set up this afternoon, and we have worked with the people that manage that location and asked if we can come in, and we've advertised through their community group, and that way we're just trying to go to different areas and different parts of town to make this more accessible. And generally, there's 3 of us. It's usually 2 nurses and someone that signs someone in. Depending on what we anticipate for size, we can also increase that because we do have 5 nurses. But usually we are not seeing as big a turnout as we would like to, so I guess it's a really good time to say, please get vaccinated. Anyone that hasn't gotten vaccine, this is a great time to do it.
That's a great use for the old McGruff truck, even though I'm sure it wasn't easy to pry that away, but that's perfect use for that vehicle.
We're excited because actually won't be the McGruff-mobile anymore because we've now covered up the McGruff. So it is actually coming back from, we've got new emblems put on that say Des Moines County Public Health, and so
Sweet.
we're picking it up this morning as a matter of fact, so,
Right on.
yeah.
Good. Thanks, Krista.
Thank you.
Correspondence. See none here. Do you have any correspondence, Shane?
I have none.
I have none. Moving on to discussion and vote. Item A is the system of care, the mental health wraparound contract, DCAT 4-22-024. Mr. Broker, do you wanna, this is your deal, do you wanna talk about this?
I can't, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is, Shane, I believe you belong to the DCAT board, the Des Moines County Board.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's the DCAT board for Jefferson, Keokuk, Van Buren, and Washington counties currently provides wraparound services for those counties. I believe each DCAT board provides a little different services. Anyway, and by wraparound services, that program pays for services that are limited by government or private insurers, especially for services for children that would otherwise be able to receive those services at home. That's the primary focus of the program, is to maintain children with their families. Anyway, the Southeast Iowa Mental Health and Disability Services Region currently administers the application for and approval of those services for those 4 counties. There are sufficient funds, and we have approval to permit expansion of those services to all 8 Southeast Iowa Lake counties. So those services are currently being provided for Jefferson, Keokuk, Van Buren, and Washington. We can expand that to Des Moines, Lee, Henry, and Louisa. But we need, the money comes from the Department of Human Services. So, and they make the rules, so we have to have a contract agreeing to that. And it has to be signed, it says we're the contract. That's because we're the fiscal agent for the SEAL region. So it says on that contract, chairperson of the Des Moines County Board of Supervisors, Tom Broker. So they need my signature. And it's also got the DCAT board for the Jefferson, Keokuk, Van Buren, and Washington counties. That's the reason I'm on here, is so I can sign that. I need a participant in this vote. So anyway, it's It's a great deal. We're expanding services and children's services. I recommend it heartily, the passage of this contract. It doesn't cost us anything, and it provides additional services for our residents. Matter of fact, I would move that we approve this contract.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I move, is that your motion? I
No,
second.
no, this was Tom moved to do it.
All right, I second that, Tom.
Terry?
Okay, Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes, please.
Jim Carey.
Yes. Put this side, Tom.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Enjoy, Tom.
I will. I'm gonna go now.
Hey, would you do one thing before you go?
Yeah?
Go shave so I don't have to look at you again.
Hold it.
Bob's got something for you, hang on.
Bob's got a question.
Oh, wait a minute. Bob's got a question for you.
Okay.
Where are you, Thomas?
Right now, I'm in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, God.
Hey, I wasn't gonna tell him that you was cutting that new record, because that's not his kind of music, you know.
No, Johnson City's not like that.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
Enjoy.
You guys have a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye. Okay, moving on, we got approval of contract for the Pleasant Grove Road Portland Concrete Paving. Project LFM P10PCC 21-7X-29.
This is for the project we bid on Pleasant Grove Road, fairly small, fairly short project in front of the quarry. Needs done. It's for this summer. The contract is with the low bidder, which is Flynn Company. They are, just so happens, they're the same contractor that got the DOT's bid on the work on 61 coming up for the next year or two. Just as a reminder, the low bid, or the bid amount was $409,259.93. So I would recommend approval. This will probably start out somewhere in the neighborhood of August if I had to guess, but I haven't talked to the contractor on that. So
I'll make sure I tell everybody that it's gonna start in August, so.
yep. So I will give you guys a better idea once we've had a chance to talk to them, but it is a midsummer project, and it's probably a 2-month project when it's all said and done, just because we have to keep access to that quarry, so we can't just pull it all out and replace it all at the same time.
I just wanna say, this is from somebody that travels that road, they said they really wish you could knock that out in less than a month. Would make things a lot easier on Sunday mornings. I move to approve.
It's now a 3-month project.
That works for me, brother.
Second.
First and second.
Terry?
Okay, Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes. We'll
Thank you.
stamp this one here, Brian?
Yep, do whatever you want, it's a local project.
Some of these you don't want stamps.
Not as many as those now that we have swap funding instead of federal
Yeah.
funds.
I'll let you keep
Okay.
Moving on, we have a Class C liquor license for Fort Catering Company for 5/20. This is gonna be held out at the barn. And everything okay with that, Mr. Glendenning?
I think they have things under control out there.
Okay, good.
I move to approve.
Second. Terry?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes. Okay, we have a resolution, the final plat for the Zane Bottom subdivision.
Okay, so this, the Scene Bottom, it's just over 5 acres, located off of Prairie Grove Road, north of 34. It involves, there's a large property currently under the same ownership of the Basine family, and they're looking to split this 5-acre piece off for a family member. Initial plans simply to have a pole building constructed on the property, potentially a residence long-term, but for the time being, simply want to use it for storage. So this 5-acre piece is, it's called, I assume they use bottom since it's separated from the rest of the acreage by Little Flint Creek. It's kind of a little low-lying bottomland area just to the north of that. Partially within a floodplain, although that's pretty much limited to the area right along the creek at the low end. As they plan on continuing to use the same entrance, there's an existing field entrance there. They're somewhat limited in where that can go, but that's the intention to continue using that. No other significant comments came in as part of the review. Seemed pretty straightforward. I should note this just barely fits within the 2-mile area, or the 2-mile buffer around Middletown. It actually cuts right through the middle of it. But city officially waived their right to review at their meeting last night. So apart from that, I guess that takes care of everything. So we would recommend approval of the Zane Bottom subdivision.
I move to approve.
Second, Terry?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, we'll sign these after the.
That's fine.
Okay, we have a resolution, 2021-28 for the final plat, and for Concordia 1, 1883 subdivision.
This is a fun one here. This is one that only comes around every once in a while, something like this, where it's actually somewhat a unique name there. We're actually dealing with an original one-room schoolhouse on South Summer Street, south of Burlington. It's right between 50th Street and Sullivan Slough Road. So this involves the same property purchase that recently occurred. We had the Hall Summer subdivision directly across the street. So this person bought a bunch of farmland, and they're selling off the existing home as well as this old schoolhouse. Fortunately, the timing didn't quite work out because the person buying the home had a deadline to get the purchase completed. So ideally, we could have done this as a 2-lot subdivision, but ended up having to do them separately here. But this schoolhouse here, there's apparently somebody that lives in nearby, a few miles away, that has been interested in rehabbing this building for a while, but the previous owner was not interested in selling, so he's happy to have this opportunity now to get that building rehabbed, because it's evidently it's been used for storage. It's otherwise been vacant for many years, and so it's gonna need some work to restore that. So this basically just cuts off a 1-acre parcel for the school off of the existing farm field. The access will be a shared access that's shown on the plat. That's an existing access from Summer Street that's shared with the property to the north. That's a residence, and they're willing to continue to allow access for that going forward. Actually, if you go back, that was the original entrance to Sullivan Slough Road. It used to go straight east and then curve to go straight south there. So that's how that originally came about. Nothing significant in terms of comments for this one. It is within Burlington's 2-mile review area, and they had that approved at their council meeting last Monday. So recommend approval of the Concordia 1 subdivision.
Move to approve.
Second, Terry?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Jared, again, thank you for giving us that stuff in advance so we can.
No problem.
Appreciate that.
Hey, Jared, what he said.
Moving on to personnel actions. We have one for the assessor's office here. And it is for Zane Armstrong, property appraiser. New hire, $50,000. Start date, 5/10/21.
I move to approve.
No, he
We're doing them all?
rescinded his offer. This is the one that was approved
Oh,
last
rescind
week.
acceptance. of-
And then he rescinded his offer, so he's backing out.
So we're not
So we're basically voiding
voiding
the
this.
personnel action that was done last week.
Okay.
Because see, up at the top, it says, in the written description, it says he rescinded, so,
Oh, I do see that now.
yeah. I should have highlighted it for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Her fault.
I still move to approve.
I second it.
Okay, Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. We have two of them for the correctional center. The first one is Russell Egan, correctional center assistant cook. 6-month step increase. Previous rate was $9.17. The new rate is $10.05 an hour. The next one is for Tucker Holtz, correctional officer full-time, 12-month step increase. Previous rate was $39,704.38. New rate is $40,707.69.
Move to approve.
Both of them?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And we have one for Eric Marshall for the engineer's office. It's a seasonal worker. New hire, $11.50 an hour, starting 5/3/21.
Move to approve.
Second.
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And we have reports. We have the general assistance monthly report, the recorder's report, the fees collected, and the Veterans Affairs monthly report. All these are for April of 2021. And these will be in the auditor's office for your review at your discretion. We have the minutes for the regular meeting of May the 4th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Second, Terry?
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, do we have any other business? I have none.
I just had one thing. Hope Haven is hiring. They've got 3 pages of open positions, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 p.m. for the day program, so get a job, man. That's it.
Future agenda items. Committee report.
Okay.
I have nothing. Public input. Station will give you 2 minutes for anybody to have public input.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name's Chad Bird. I'm the new city manager for the city of Burlington. I'm just stopping by to introduce myself so you can put a face with a name and just let you know that I'm looking forward to working with you guys. And if there's ever anything the city can do for the county, certainly let us know and I'll do the same.
We need all kinds of stuff.
No, I didn't bring the checkbook, so.
It's good to see you, Bert.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you too.
Thank you.
I think you'll probably be working with our county engineer more likely than anybody else, but,
Yeah.
and you gotta keep an eye on him.
And we apologize for
Yeah.
that.
Just the way it is.
Anybody else in public have anything?
First of all, welcome. And if I could talk to you after the meeting real briefly, it'd be
Absolutely.
great. I was, oddly enough, right down the road from where Tom Broker just called from. I was in Pulaski, Tennessee, where they used to have a Ku Klux Klan museum. I stopped down there, I wanted to see that, they don't. But they had this on the hotel desk, the Hard Times, and I thought, what kind of town am I in where they have porn on the hotel desk? No. These, I got this for you, Sheriff. These are all people that are wanted by the police down there. It's a whole newspaper, and I'm thinking maybe the Hawkeye could change to
Is that
that.
the only one that got that? Come on, yeah, am I the only one that just got gut punched right at the end of this meeting here? Bless your heart, brother, bless your heart.
It's not porn.
You're a special dude, man. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Bob, I appreciate you always thinking of me.
I just signed on
Another way to do this.
a lot of them, aren't there?
There are.
Did you have to pay for that?
No, it was free.
His picture's now on the front of one.
So the thing that made me really
Oh, shoot,
curious
man.
is it says Hard Times, and it's got all these miserable pictures on it, and it's stapled shut.
All right.
I think that 2 minutes
Okay,
is up.
this meeting is live streamed and so if anybody else has a public comment, it's either on the phone line or on live stream, you can email the Board of Supervisors at dmcounty.com or you can call 319-753-8203, extension 4. That's 319-753-8203, extension 4, and they will give you 2 minutes to call in. I don't think anybody's called in since we started this, but there's gonna be that one person.
You had a woman that called in about 3 months ago.
She's sitting right next to you.
No, it wasn't her. It was someone else that spoke for about a half an hour. So. Do you remember that? I don't remember the topic or anything.
That must have been when I was sleeping.
I must have been asleep too, because everybody called in talking that. Everybody have a good Mother's Day? I see some nods from some men taking advantage of a Mother's Day. Selfish as all get out, but hey, man, whatever. Bird's like, yeah, it's great, dude.
So are you enjoying Burlington so far?
Very much so, yep. My wife Sally and I enjoy exploring the restaurants, kind of our thing, and the cultural events. Been to several cultural events already, and restaurants and that. And Sunday, we went with some friends down to Fat Jimmy's, down to the barbecue place in Montrose.
Jimmy's, yeah, that's supposed to be really good stuff.
That was
Son told
awesome,
me.
that was good.
Hey, did you get a chance to walk the halls of City Hall and check out the pictures of all the mayors?
I have.
Who's the best looking? Hold on. Who's the best looking mayor on the walls? Which one would you say?
You know, I'd say that our current mayor and the previous mayor are probably the best on that wall, right?
Boy, I'll tell you what, you sure know how to put it.
Jimmy, don't ruin it, Jimmy. Don't do it. Don't ruin this.
Oh, wow. I gotta look at
It's
that.
done, I know, right? Just get used to it.
Well, time is up, so with aye, the meeting shall be adjourned.
All right.
Aye. We have a work session here with
Chad?
County Conservation, Chris Lee.
It's good to meet you.
We're gonna take about 5
Okay.
And we're here for a work session with Chris Lee, County Conservation. And we have a couple participants. Would you, for the record, state your names?
Sure, Julie Selinsky on the Conservation Board. Good morning.
Bob Hanson on the Conservation Board.
And Chris Lee.
You first.
Yours, so
Still here.
you go ahead and
Yeah, so I think you guys are aware, we did that field tour, and we talked about it a little bit when we got up to Big Hollow. Our septic system up at the shop is failing, so I believe what has happened is over the winter, we had the ice heaved our tank. And the system goes back to at least the early 80s, possibly late 70s, I'm not sure, either way before my time. And the ice has heaved the tank, so now what we have is we don't have enough drop in our line coming out of the bathroom, and when we were just regular staffing, is about every 2 days, they were having to force water through the line to flush the line out, otherwise it starts backing up into the shop. We've already had to unhook our floor drain from the system because we had negative drop on that one, and we were backing water up into the shop, and so we can't just go and replace the tank. If you go and replace any component of it, you have to put in an entirely new system per Iowa code and the rural sanitarian here. We've had him come out, he's advised us on what size of system we have to put in. Basically, we're gonna have to put in a new tank, a lift pump, and then we do have the space to the south of the shop, that big open grassy area there, to put in a sand filter, like you would, on any residence or whatever. We did go and get a couple quotes from a couple of plumbers that we've worked with in the past. The low quote was $14,600 to put the new system in. Obviously, that isn't something we have budgeted for, and in talking with my board at our last board meeting, they recommended come to the supervisors, because right now I've got about, depending on the day, I have 8 to 10 county employees working out of that facility on any given day. So I think our issue is going to exacerbate itself real fast as my summer staffing level goes up. I've got my 3 interns starting up. I just brought them on. I've got those 2 part-timers, so there's 5. And then I have 3 field staff that work out of there every day, so there's 6, 7, 8. And then me and the natural resource manager work out of there sometimes, so there's 9 and 10. And then at least 1 day a week we have volunteers that come in and help us. So there's, basically we're anywhere between 10 and 12 people in there on any given day, working out of that little tiny shop.
Is the septic tank that you're putting in, the replacement, is that the same size as the old one, or are you going bigger?
No, this will be, I'm not exactly sure what size the old one is, because we can't, because it goes down and then it flares out, and I'm not exactly sure what the actual dimensions are, because that.
Okay, well, let me ask this, is the septic tank that you priced, is that gonna be big enough for future developing, if you have to add another bathroom or something like that, we're gonna be good there?
Yes, so in talking to the sanitarian, I told him, what our future plans were, and he said, yeah, this will be, he's basically sizing it to a 3-bedroom house. And so, he said that would be fine. And so, and it'll have a dosing pump with it, because it's gonna have to lift, because that shop sits at the lowest point in that whole facility right there, so we're gonna have to lift to get into that field.
Chris, have you, did you have somebody run a camera down through there to see what the problem was?
Multiple times. Yep.
And what company did that?
We've had Draintainer and Fishers.
And who?
Fishers, Roto-Rooter. Yep. And so they could see all the way through the line, they could see all the way to the tank, because originally we thought we had a break in our line. And, because, we figured that's why it was backing up. And when they discovered that the line was clear going out to the tank, that was when we figured that what must be happening is that tank has heaved and we've lost our drop on that, because the camera isn't going to tell you exactly what your elevation is. And so that's how we determined that, because we don't have enough drop, we were getting backflow and it was backing up. And so now,
But they did get clear to the tank, and then the tank's empty?
yeah, because we had pumped the tank empty a couple times, and you could run water in there, and you could get water to come out and go into that. So yeah, and then we even had it dug up. So we had Jeff George come out with his mini, and he dug the line up, because we had to unhook the floor drain line. We unhooked that, capped that off, and and so now we don't have a floor drain in our shop, because once he dug that up, he saw that that was running backwards, and that was, and so then he was able to, because the tank had heaved, our line had separated just a little bit, and so he was able to get that back in there, but he said there's not much drop at all in that. And so it was basically, the line was essentially sitting horizontal, and you're not getting any floating to carry the solids into there. And so what we have to do every couple days, which is, with 10 or 12 people working out of there, that's gonna get worse, is they have to run a hose down in there and then pressurize that, and then they've got this big, basically, like a thing that they compress, and it will blast that water through there. That's how they flush that line out.
What did they say? I mean, it's not like you really have any other options that they gave you, did they? I mean, I don't understand how you could possibly, well, we talked about, you already talked to me about when you took me out that one day, so I already knew what the deal was, and I knew it was coming, but,
You say you don't have the money in your budget to do this?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing budgeted in there now as far as, coming out of bottom
Yeah.
line.
So have you got all the future revenue for this year budgeted that we're giving you for Big Hollow?
Well, I mean, we've got the budget set as far as what the budget was written.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, it could come out of fund balance, easy enough, sure, but me and the board don't really feel like this is a specific Big Hollow thing. Yeah, it is in Big Hollow Park, but this
Right.
is, this is county employees at large. It's our department that this is, and we kind of felt that it's bigger than just Big Hollow.
And I know I'm somewhat new to the board, but kind of speak for the other board members, but was kind of the consensus, if this was happening at another county facility, public health or something, I would assume that would be brought to the board, so that was a bit of our thinking.
that's what I would think for a city. With the county, I know that you guys kind of have a different setup, like with the county
Well-
roads, they kind of do their own thing, and so I don't know what you guys have done in the past, but.
My thing is, I'm gonna be honest about it. We've been giving you all the revenue off of Big Hollow. And this is a project out there. And you do need that facility, I agree with that. But the money we give you off the revenue off of Big Hollow is more than enough to pay for that $14,000.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there.
And it is for park improvements, and park improvements is part of your new maintenance shop you wanna build and stuff like this, and that goes right along with it. I don't know, I've really gotta sit down and think about it.
If our shop facility was outside of Big Hollow, so let's say all of our staff was housed instead out of Starks Cave, and we had this problem, would you still look at it that way?
I don't know, that's what I gotta sit down and think about. I do know you do need that out there, if, Greg said, talked to Greg, and Greg said, you do need that. It's a thing that started in the 70s. It's 50 years old. Nothing lasts forever.
I'm a little more open on that. Again, it's gonna take three of us, obviously, to figure out what we wanna do as far as the money goes.
Well,
I can kinda see where you're coming from with different people using it, and even if it wasn't I would be more open to at least trying to find a happy medium on that. That's great.
what kind of, I'd have to check. No, I do know you need it. And I'm not ready to make that decision, say, yeah, we're gonna put the bill right now.
Well, this is just a work session, so you can't
Yeah.
clarify anything.
No, I know that. I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from on it. You know, even though I'm new on your board, with that revenue that in the past would go back in general fund, you know, but we're glad to see the conservation thing going. I wouldn't like to flush that out every 2 days either. I'll be honest about it, I really wouldn't. But at this point, I guess I'm looking at the financial and
And you have to. I'm looking at it from both an operational and a morale perspective. I've got 8 to 12 of my employees and volunteers working out of a shop every day that for months now have not had a toilet that they can trust to flush on any particular time they go in there. And I'm gonna have to come back to them yet again and say, I'm sorry, our leaders are saying that they're not quite ready to foot this bill yet. We're gonna have to wait and see if we can put a septic tank in there. And I mean, I get where you're coming from. I mean, $14,600 is a lot of money, but please understand where I'm coming from. I've gotta go back and answer these guys and say, you know, hey, I went and had this discussion, and maybe after July 1st and fiscal year's rolls over, we'll be able to get you a functioning toilet. In the meantime, let's order a porta potty, or take a walk over to the shower house. Those toilets work. I mean, I really feel that if this was secondary roads or somebody else come in there, there wouldn't be so much hesitation. And maybe that's not true, but that's the feeling I get because I've got this.
I'm not picking on you.
No, but that's, because I've got this revenue coming in from this park, there's always this hesitation. That revenue was always supposed to be towards development of public improvements of that park. This is operational infrastructure. This isn't public facility development. This is the shop and office facility for county staff. Not just that park staff. This is county staff, no different than Terry or Colin or Brian or anybody else that works for this county. This is county staff, and I've got enough people in there that it's likely to turn into a daily event that toilet's not gonna work.
And I guess you can say it's something that needs to be done, it's just figuring out the financial.
Right.
Yeah.
But on that deal, like Terry said, that's something that does need to be done. So, you know, regardless, you know, something's gonna you have to pull the trigger on this, and it's not gonna get any cheaper the longer that you wait. But, you know, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, I'm at where I see where you're coming from a little bit more. And at the very minimum, I would be open to you taking care of half, and the county will take care of the other. We'll split the other half of that because it is infrastructure. I'm only one person, but I do feel like you don't want to wait on that. You probably want to move and come back and deal with this however you got to deal with it. But again, I'm the new guy, so
Yeah, and this is a work session. I mean, we can't make any decisions here. I was mostly getting direction. I mean, ultimately, I'm gonna have to put a septic system in there. So, I mean, when I leave here today, I've gotta call that plumber and I gotta say, come do this.
Well, we can't make that decision today whether we're gonna finance it or not, because this is a work session, like Terry said.
Right.
Are they going to shoot this into your other system?
No, this will be a standalone system.
Standalone
To
system.
connect it into the campground would require state permitting, and you can imagine how long that would go. Greg's recommendation was to just put in a standalone system right there.
This Greg from Russ?
Yeah.
Yeah, county.
So we have, in a sense, here a critical situation that we should perhaps at least call the plumber today or tomorrow, and then a couple of weeks from now, figure out who's gonna pay for it?
I'm not gonna make that decision, that's conservation's decision, what they wanna do there.
I gotta put a system in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. If I've gotta pay for it myself, I will. It has to happen. But I wanted this board to understand, you know, where I was coming from and where my board was coming from, and we can sort out where the dollars come from.
I think it does kind of, you know, I wasn't there when the original agreements were made as to Big Hollow money and maybe one other, but of just, you know, what is that dividing line? Because my impression of the agreement was it was for improvements. And I don't, you know, is there a written agreement? Is there a borderline we as a conservation board should know, hey, you know,
We have that,
I'd have to look through.
yeah.
I've got it, I can give you the
You got
original
it,
order.
Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it stated very explicitly, it was for like capital development of the park.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind it was that, you know,
development.
as we get that park kind of going, and every few years, I wasn't coming to the board and saying, hey, I need $600,000, or I need this or that or whatever. And so then we were able to use the dollars, and yes, you gave us that loan, but we paid all that back off with revenue from that park. So that park is 100% built itself, and now that park is 100% paying for its operations as well. So all of the electricity, all of the water, all of the rock, all of the dust control, every time we need some thing for that park revenue is paying for that. So of the $125,000 I've got coming in from that park every year, I'm really only seeing about $20,000 in profit. Because operationally, and it's also paying for 2 additional staff as well. Because at large, I needed additional staff. Yes, that park was driving a lot of that, but I've got more people on the trails, I got more people in Starks Cave, I got more people all over the place, especially now with COVID. I needed more people, so you said pay for them, and I did. So it's not like that money's just building a giant fund balance. It's getting spent back out. I'm covering all of that operations, which the general fund would have to cover where all that money coming into the general fund. So it isn't a giant windfall, and I've shown you guys those numbers in the past of what that cash flow actually is, and it's pretty minuscule. So
But at least it's paying for itself.
it is paying for itself.
Well-
And this issue is larger than just Big Hollow. This is a county at large. These guys are the guys that are putting out the boat ramps, these guys that are covering the trails and fixing Stars Cave and all of the other, everything we cover in the county. The people that work out of that shop cover everything in this county, even outside of that park. And so minus the 2 of them that are paid for that park, by that park. And so that's why me and the board really feel that, you know, this is a county thing, this is a general fund thing.
Who had the low bid on that?
Kenny Martin.
Kenny Martin? Couldn't get anybody any better to do that too, because he is great. I will tell you that.
How do we, Jimmy, do we set up another work session? Regardless, you need to move. I mean, you need to make it happen. But do we set up another work session, or do we add this to the agenda when Tom gets back so that we can, as far as if we're gonna give support or whatever toward this project, or however we wanna do that?
Well, I'd like to talk to Cheryl, see just right where we're at on
Because it might be something
What's
that,
that?
it might be something that we probably have to ask for.
the, yeah.
Ye-
What I'd like
Well, we're
to-
too late this year to do a
Right,
budget
for an
amendment,
amendment,
so
yeah,
it
let's
would
do
have
it
to
for
go
the
in
amendment.
next year's
But I
budget.
think one of the things we have to keep in mind is the people using that facility are serving the entire county, not just Big Hollow. And we really need help on this.
And that facility was built before Big Hollow Lake and all that stuff was built. I mean, it's
I think that
been
goes
kind of.
back to when John Welder started that, didn't he?
I don't know who John Welder is,
John
so.
Welder, that's back in the 60s.
Way back.
I just know I lived out in that area and for years, the county was buying parcels out there. And we always wondered if the lake would ever show up in our lifetime, so. It's just
Yeah,
glad
it
to
took
see it
like
there.
48 years, I think.
So yeah, see, I've been for as long as I can remember.
Well, I totally agree that it has to be done, but I do want to check with the budget director, see if we can, there might be something in there that we can do, but we can't make a budget amendment.
Right.
Not for this fiscal year.
But you, kinda like Bob's idea, but I'm not gonna say, yeah, I'll do that, because I don't wanna get
Right,
like beat in the water where it don't belong.
right. No, I get that. I mean, and I knew we couldn't make any decisions here. I just needed everybody to understand the situation that we were in.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let them know what was going on and what needs to be done, so.
I do see your point about the other county buildings. I'm sitting here thinking about that, so that took some of that doubt away from me on that. I'll let you know that. Let's do that. So whatever you guys do, you know, you gotta have it done. I like Bob's idea.
Okay. All right, we'll figure it out.
And then we put it on the agenda and hold on.
All right.
County Conservation deserves to take a poo, too.
Right?
You tell them Jimmy said.
Okay, if you want to put that.
Some things don't run uphill.
You got that right, sweetheart. Bless your heart.
All right, well, thanks.
But true.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for your troubles, man. We'll get it figured out somehow.
That happens.
You gonna give Kenny a call?
Yep,